Good morning, everybody. BDL 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so preseason basketball is ahead. Tonight, 7 o'clock, the Los Angeles Lakers played the Minnesota Timberwolves again. We had them last week. They got us, I believe it was 114, 98, or 99, or something like that. They got us in a game where none of our stars played. But, it's a preseason matchup, so we don't really take too much from it. But what we can say is we understand who their team is a bit better than we did last week. So I can kind of just have a bit more of a fullness to what it is I expect to see from their team. So I didn't see anything on the injury report in regards to the Timberwolves. I don't believe that's out yet, but we know for a fact Rudy Gobert and or Karl Towns won't play. One of the two will not play because I did read that they're going to debut together in their final preseason game. So that will help us understand that. Anthony Edwards, D'Angelo Russell, all of those guys have no idea, of course. So as far as the Los Angeles Lakers, we have Dennis Schroeder back. He practiced with the team yesterday, so that's very good. And pretty much no news on Troy Brown. I believe Juan Toscano Anderson will still be all right. He did play in the previous game, even though he's dealing with the leg injury. And everything else I understand is a go. Obviously, we expect for our stars to be limited in the preseason. So, whether they play or not is pretty much up in the air at this point. But they're healthy, and that's the most important thing. Now, a few key players that the Timberwolves have that have really been playing well as of late. I checked out the Timberwolves, and they had a nice win over the Clippers on Sunday where they won by 2. Nas Reed really stood out in the numbers. Jalen Noel had some good numbers in that game. You gotta keep an eye on Bryn Forbes. He also too stood out there. And keep an eye on Austin Rivers. He's somebody who they just picked up, who we know is a vet in this league who's going to help them win. With them losing Patrick Beverley, somebody like Austin Rivers is exactly what the doctor ordered. So it's a new look Minnesota Timberwolves team, even though they have a lot of players coming back from last year. Some of their core guys. At the end of the day, they are bringing in some very, very new and important pieces. So I do expect that they'll carve out a contending title to themselves this season. But as I've mentioned before, I don't think that they've built properly, and we've discussed that enough. I just didn't love the trade for Rudy Gobert, as most people did not. But as far as what we're going to see from the Lakers tonight, I think just moving on from the Wolves, it should be more about the same of what we've seen in terms of trying different things and continuing to run plays that ultimately, bring forth the cohesive offense that it is that we've been seeing glimpses of from the start of the quarters of these games. It kind of falls apart once we put the bench unit in, because I think we're doing a little more experimental stuff with the bench. But you can see when we have the starters in, regardless if it's a star level players or not, you can clearly see the intent is to get off to a good start with the rhythm of the offense, pace, and things of that nature are definitely on display. I like the fact that the Los Angeles Lakers signed a guy by the name of Matt Ryan, who went completely off in the last game from behind the arc, and I think we're in a space where it's very clear to see that what he does is very key to what we are. So I would expect we're going to see him tonight again, and we're going to give him more looks and try to see if he can be consistent in that way, because if that's not just something, if that just wasn't a one-time thing, we may have found something extremely special for ourselves. So we're excited about that shooter. And that's a weapon for us, man. 37 is a weapon. That's what I'm telling y'all right now. Last time I was saying I couldn't remember if it was 35 or 37. It's 37. So that's going to be the phrase. 37 is a weapon. We know. That's our shooter right there. And we also have another shooter, of course, by the name of Cole Swider, even though we're really having a tough time with his shot. He's working. We're trying to give him minutes and work him into the equation. So we're just trying to be patient there. But it's been a real struggle with the shot. Cole Swider. So once we get both of those guys shooting at the same time, it's going to be very difficult to beat us. Very difficult to beat us. So I'm excited about what can happen when they both are on. Max Christie, we've talked a lot about him on this channel. Of course, he's getting a lot of minutes in the preseason. We like that. We want to continue to see him work on his shot selection. It has not been very good. Things that we have like those, defense, rebounding, intangibles. I like that he's intent on making the extra pass and things of that nature. He doesn't tend to force too much, except for those fadeaway jump shots that he tends to try to select for himself. I would just rather him pick and choose when to take those. I like his form. I think he can hit the shot, but sometimes he tends to take it when maybe there's another pass or two to make to my eyesight. So I think this is just about the coaches working with him and helping him pick and choose when best to attack in that way. Scottie Pippen, want to continue to see him get minutes tonight. He didn't get as many in the last game, if I remember correctly, so I'm pretty sure we'll use him more tonight. But then again, we got Dennis Schroeder to work into the equation as well. I'm curious about Troy Brown. At some point in time, we got to start asking questions about his health. He hasn't played in any of these preseason games, and he's one of the more unknown guys on the team. So he's a youngster, just like the rest of the squad. And him getting incorporated into what it is that we do is essential into his development as a Laker. We don't have any idea if he fits in certain lineups and things of that nature. So it looks like we're going to be experimenting with him in the regular season, and I'm not in love with that. So that's just unfortunate. He's not 100% and ready to go. I've liked what I saw from Lonnie Walker, man. I want to continue to see us lean on him for scoring, instant scoring, put him in positions to catch lobs and be in the open court for dunks. That's when he's really at his best, slashing at the rim and getting to the line. I don't think he's a great free throw shooter, but I don't care. I just want to see him draw fouls as much as possible, because at the end of the day, dunking on people and using his athleticism is exactly what he's going to be able to do for us. He had some good defensive sequences as well here and there, good playmaking sequences, hitting the three here and there. So I've been very happy with him. I just want to see his shot selection, just like Max Christie, just like a lot of our young guys. I just want to see them learn where to attack and how and when to attack offensively. Shot selection is something that you end up getting a feel for, I believe, as you continue to get in the league through trial and error. You just learn what shots you want to take and don't. You learn what shots fit within the offense and don't. You learn what shots lead to success and failure. Stuff like that, I think, just comes over time. But I think helping players understand that stuff sooner than later will be key for our team, because we're trying to expedite the process of winning. So shot selection should be a very strong emphasis for this team this season, for our young players specifically. They just don't know what shots to take. I think last year we had that issue with with THT. He was awful at that, and I wanted to see our coaches last year give him more of an emphasis on that, and then it just never manifested. So with the new coaching staff, hopefully they can identify that and then really, really, really key in on it. Because once we shore that up, it'll take away from so many lost possessions that will ultimately be coming down the pipeline for us. Giving up leads and stuff like that, I don't think it's the only thing to focus on, but I think it's probably the main thing to focus on. Yeah. So, the bigs, the young bigs that we have here. I know the Lakers have been talking, as we mentioned yesterday in the Laker Talk video. A lot of conversations been had about AD maybe playing the center. I don't have a problem with him playing the center with this unit, because we have the bigs to surround him to help. But I don't want us to give up on our bigs either, because of a few struggles that we may have seen in the preseason. I just think that's the wrong way to go. I've heard people say that they didn't really like what they saw from Thomas Bryant. I had a different approach. I think I like the aggression is what I want to say. I lean in on the fact that he's getting to the line and hitting his free throws. And as a big man, what I want to see is continued energy, offensive rebounding, and chippies, hitting your chippies, getting those chippies off, and ultimately getting fouled. The three-point shot doesn't necessarily have to fall right away. That'll come as he continues to get reps within the course of the offense. Once they start running certain plays repeatedly, I think he'll start to get in the rhythm with those specific three-point shots that we will set up for him. So I know some people are kind of concerned because he's profiled as a three-point shot and we haven't seen it fall yet. But they will work out plays that'll become very rhythmic for him, and I think the three is they'll fall. So that's the least of my worries. My worries with Thomas Bryant is completely on a different way. My worries with him is health. I don't like how he throws himself around. He doesn't fall properly, stuff like that we've already talked about. That's really my only issue with him. Other than that, just continue to be aggressive, and I think the coaches will help him be more intelligent with that aggression. More unselfish with that aggression, work within the flow of cohesive basketball play with that aggression. Because he tends to overhold the ball a little bit, tends to put his head down when it's time to pass to a guy that's open. It's a lot of that stuff as well. I think our team is going to have to learn how to play for one another. It's a little bit of playing for me. I need to go get my shot. Guys kind of standing in the corner with their hands open, in position to catching, and the pass never comes because guys are just trying to do their own thing. That's a trait that I don't believe works in the NBA at all anymore. At all. And so it's something that I think our coaches are going to have to help some of our players figure out how not to ever do within the course of our offense. Over holding, over dribbling, looking for yourself when there's somebody to pass to in an open position to get a better shot. Austin Reeves mentioned it yesterday. Making the extra pass is important. You can pass up a good shot to get a great shot. That is the type of thing that ultimately impresses me as a fan. I don't like selfishness. I think it leads to losses. I think it leads to lost possessions. I think it leads to the other teams having fun. And that's how I equate that. So we got to be unselfish to assure that they're not as happy. Simple and plain. So that's how I equate it, man. And that's exactly how I would coach it. You want them guys cheering? Be selfish. That's how you get the other team hopping around, skipping, and doing all that little. Yeah, that's how you get that started. When you over dribble, it turns into turnovers. So that's what I want to say about that. What else? There's more to say. Obviously, Austin Reeves, since we're mentioning him, he's been fantastic. I love the fact that he's able to get his going without necessarily having a play call for him. He knows where he needs to be to just be in the right place at the right time. Offensive rebounding, he has a knack for the ball. Defense, he catches you slipping. You dribbling, he's going to steal it from you. He's that kind of player. And I just love what he's been able to do in the offseason, putting on the strength and ultimately being attacking. He was already somebody to dunk on your head. And don't let the smooth taste fool you. He has no problem grabbing the rim, and he showed us that. As I've mentioned before, throughout the preseason, I've noticed that guys have been overplaying him on the perimeter, assuming that his three-point shot is just wet all day. He has a long way to go with his three-point shot, as us Laker fans know. But as long as the field doesn't understand that, I want him to continue to be a threat from behind the arc. Don't be afraid to shoot it, and don't be afraid to put it on the ground when they overplay it, because that's working. He's been catching them off guard and being able to get in that mid-tier range to attack with floaters and layups and dunks and all that stuff, and I'm loving it. So his aggression, getting to the line, all of that is going to be key for us. And I just think Austin Reeves is somebody we must keep. I look at him and I say, I don't think there's 5 players on this team with a higher basketball IQ on this team than him. I really don't. I think he's one of the smartest players on the team, and he's been that since the very beginning. And I look at him as a coach on the floor, an extension of the schematics and the understanding of the coach's scheme, like a point guard. And I think that as Darvin Ham continues to learn that he can trust Austin Reeves, he'll start to make Austin Reeves someone that he leans on more so for different things. I think Bron probably already was there with the kid. He already said he's a big fan of Austin Reeves and is going to be a fan of Austin Reeves for the rest of his career, from what I've heard. Same here. It's just the style of play that he plays with that I love. When you play defense and you look to get others involved and you look to put yourself in a position to be efficient, scoring the ball, because that's key as well, you're going to win. You're going to win. You're going to help your team in ways that the selfish player or someone who may be more flashy may not help. It's why Draymond Green has so much value in this league. It's because he's able to do those things and make guys better on both sides. So that's what I think Austin Reeves' value to this league is going to be going forward. He can do a lot of things. He makes people better on his team on both sides, and he makes people worse on the other team on both sides, and that's key. That's key. making him look foolish out there. So I say keep up the good work, and please, Genie, have his bag ready. All right, so another thing, Anthony Davis is exceeding my expectations early on. I have no problem with him taking the rest that he's taken. If he doesn't play tonight, I won't lose any sleep about it. But if he does play tonight, I've been watching him play at a high level, man. We are looking at him playing at a very high level. And I know people are still skeptical, as am I, in regards to how long he's been able to keep this up. We've seen a lot of subpar Anthony Davis, much more subpar than good. And we've seen good before, and we've seen it disappear. So, we're just happy that we see decent, healthy Anthony Davis more than anything. Just be healthy. And with the good play, that's icing on the cake. But I can tell you this. What I want to see from him is there. He's doing all the stuff I want to see. He looks stronger. He looks more balanced. The speed is coming, although it's, the timing isn't there yet. I understand that's not a problem. It'll come. But the speed, the foot speed and all of that, being able to run the floor, all of that stuff looks pretty good. He's rebounding. And like I said, those big players that he's on the floor with provide a dynamic he didn't have last year. It makes him a much more effective rebounder and a much more effective 50-50 player in general. So I'm happy with the addition of Juan Toscano Anderson and Wenyen Gabriel for him. They're going to help a lot with that. Christie as well. And I think Troy Brown, when we get him down there, he probably will help with that kind of stuff as well. What I'm curious about, and I double back to Troy Brown, is can he shoot the three? I have no idea. Man, it could be a 40% shooter, he could be a 20% shooter. I am clueless. I do not know. So that's something that's very, very curious to me. And that would determine a lot of whether or not I'd want to put him in certain lineups. Because if he's a solid three-point shooter, put him at 3, put him at 2, put him at the 4. You know what I mean? Because he has a big body for his size. So depending on the lineups, you might be able to use him in different lineups that involve big people, big, large lineups. So, gosh, I just want to see that kid get on the floor so I know if he's any good or not. Literally, like he's one of the, and it's weird because for me, it's like, not only is he one of those players just in general, like for our team that I don't know of, but in the league, he's one of those guys that's really like, I don't know who this is. He played for the Wizards and he played for the Bulls. And like the timeline from when he came to the league is clueless to me. I think the dude's like 27. He's more like 23 or something. So I'm like, who is this mystery guy? We picked him up. Who is he? So that's where I'm at, man. I'm ready to see Troy Brown. I got a chance to see Walker. I had that type of dynamic about Walker 3 weeks ago. We finally seen him a couple times. He's who I thought he was. He's a weapon, right? I'm comfortable putting him in the lineup. I know what he can and cannot do to an extent at this point. I'm ready to have at least some vague understanding of who our guy Brown is. So hopefully he can develop here, man. I have a great memory of a guy who came to our team with that type of unknown, and his name was Trevor Reeves. That's the vibe that Troy Brown brings in. The reputation is, from afar, you didn't hear nothing, he didn't blow nobody away, you're not excited. When you get him here, you're like, oh crap, this dude can really do some things for us, and he's key for us, and now he's made his name with us. So maybe that can be what Troy does. Same thing with Malik Monk last year. We knew of Malik Monk, but once he left the Lakers, now with the Sacramento Kings, you understand exactly who Malik Monk is, and you know he's going to make the Sacramento Kings a significantly better offensive team. So, I'm ready to find out who that is, man. Period. Also, Jay Huff, love to see him get back out there tonight. I saw him out there with the practice squad. I always try to incorporate him into these videos because I do believe he's that important of a piece to us in involving keeping Anthony Davis healthy and keeping the rest of our bigs healthy and our shooting. He profiles as a three-point shooter with 7 foot, height and Superman wingspan. So that right there tells you he has the potential to be a two-way player, a 3-point shooter and a shot blocker. People are trying to spend $20 million on what's my guys from Indiana. Everybody's trying to hurry up and get Miles Turner. Yeah, Miles Turner, the things you want Miles Turner to do, Jay Huff profiles that way. He profiles have the same strengths. He blocks shots and he shoots threes. That's what Miles does. So all we got to do for ourselves is develop him into what it is we want Miles to be. And I'm not saying he's going to turn to Miles Turner, but again, same strengths, same weaknesses. So you develop him to his level and let it be. instead of spending $20 million on Miles Turner, period. So that's why I keep saying that. Yes, J Huff is on a rookie contract. Respectfully speaking, dirt cheap, man. We need to develop him to his best self and take a chance there instead of trying to reach for his position with money, because we need to use that money obviously on other things, in my humble opinion. So yeah, once again, let's do that. Let's get J Huff involved, especially since the other bigs have struggled some. We could kind of understand and then move him up and try to see if he can kind of do the things we want him to do. So that's where I'm at with it, man. That's what these next preseason games are about. And I don't want to misspeak in regards to how last preseason went, but I don't trust that I do remember it fully. But I just remember walking away from the preseason saying, we need to move on from some struggling players now. Not to say move on as in kick them off the team, but as in, okay, we've seen them get enough minutes. Now let's use the next couple of preseason games to see the other guys who were not struggling, who we didn't see as much. Let's get them in. So that's what I want to see Darvin Ham do. We got to continue to work, but nevertheless, I think tonight could potentially be a Dennis Schroeder night. Just off rip, the way this thing is gone, we've kind of put ourselves in positions to give guys their own solo time. That's what I've noticed. This offense in this preseason, everybody gets a moment or two to do what it is that they do. 3 plays, 4 plays, just them. And so I think we could potentially see a lot of Dennis Schroeder in that vein, because obviously he hasn't been here. He's a high-level player coming off a fantastic summer with FIBA. And I just think he's ready to get back on the floor and show exactly what level he's willing to give the Lakers this season. And I know what he's after, a big contract, which has eluded him for 2 years. A contract that I think he will have no problem earning if given the minutes, because I know what his game is when he's right. So he's been away for a long time. At this point in time, he's one of the best contracts in all of basketball. Yes, he really is. At that price, with his talent level and his age, it's one of the best contracts on the planet. So I value it as such. We need to keep his value high as well because of it. And I think if we have a healthy season out of Dennis Schroeder, he could potentially be our 6th man of the year, low key, and we don't even see that coming, but I do. He's already won it once before, and never there's been more of a motivation for him to do so. And I think this offense will allow him to have a lot more freedom than he had in Frank Vogel's with the Lakers. Definitely think that. With those driving lanes open for him, with some of these defensive players around him, should bring up his plus minus in general, just being on this team with these defensive players. So the problem for him, obviously Russell Westbrook eating minutes. That's the problem for Dennis Schroeder. You get Russell Westbrook out of the way, respectfully, of course, and you'll have those minutes for Dennis Schroeder to show you exactly what it is I'm talking about. And unlike the team he played for with the Lakers, again, defensive players like Beverly, Pippen, Christie, etc. around to kind of help the team defensively while he's on the floor. So we don't look as deficient defensively with him there, like we did in 2020 at times. So yeah, that's key, man. That's key. I look at a guy like Malik Monk and I say, boy, he would have loved to have been on a team like this, because he would have had even more shots than he had last year. His role would have been even more so necessary because of the fact that we have less shooting and more defense. So yeah, it is what it is. But one man's loss is another man's gain. And I say this is an opportunity for guys like Matt Ryan, to take those same shots and make them. So that's what it's about, man. So that's where we're at. What else is there to say? If LeBron James gives it a go, we never really care about his stats. It's more about him being healthy and comfortable out there. That's always my thing with Bron. I think he's on his own mission as it pertains to what he needs to do to keep himself going. So as long as he's on that, we're cool. And I would reiterate the same point I made yesterday. This is a everybody do their job type of team. Everybody do their job, we straight. I kind of look at us as a pick and plug team like Miami was last year, to where the system is the system and everybody comes in, does their job, and they should be able to get it done. I think that's how I want to describe the thought. Although Miami was a bit more positionless and everybody kind of did everything, That's not how we are. But if everybody does their specific thing, we're gonna be fine, man. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna have an opportunity to win every game I believe we're in. I don't think anybody really outclasses us at full strength at all. Just from the sheer fact that they have to deal with Anthony Davis and LeBron James, and there's no such thing as outclassing LeBron James. Even if you have more weapons, even if those weapons are in multiple places, you still got to deal with the greatness of LeBron James. He don't make enough mistakes. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to deal with him, and we all know that. At the end of the day, you staring down the barrel of LeBron James. If he has enough help, you're in trouble. You know, and that's what it's always about. The Laker tax, all of that. People talking about these type of things, and I think a lot of that conspiracy is built behind the idea that stopping LeBron James means keeping certain talent away from him. Because as long as he doesn't have enough, you can beat him. But if he has a full team, as an orchestrator, he's gonna win every year. That's the scary part. Y'all better be glad LeBron James wasn't drafted to the Spurs or drafted to a team that had nothing but weapons everywhere, a Golden State type of team. If he would have been drafted into that type of situation and never left, we wouldn't be talking about 9 straight finals. We'd be talking about 9 straight championships. I don't think people really quite understand that. Like, a guy like LeBron, and I mean this when I say this, he's as great as the people around him because of what it is that he is best at, which is making them better. So if they suck, when he's a one-man band, he's amazing. But he's going to lose because he's not a Kobe guy. He's not a Michael guy. Those guys dragged others. Whether they were good or not, they're going to take you with them. You know, it's that kind of thing. If you're just good enough, they're going to shoot down everybody, even if they have to take all the shots and block all the shots and steal all the shots. They're going to do it by themselves. That ain't how LeBron James' greatness works. His greatness is the better everybody else is, the more comfortable I can make them. Boom. You're a fantastic shooter, I'm going to get you in your spot at every time. You're a fantastic slasher, we're going to make sure you get the ball in your spot every time. You like to catch lobs, I can make sure you get every lob you get. You like to throw lobs, I'm the guy that connect and make your efficiency better by not missing myself. That's what LeBron James is. He increases the greatness of the players around him. And because I understand this, he was always mischaracterized in a way because he was always trying to find himself in a position to get around the best players so that he can increase what it is that his greatest gift is, but that's looked at the wrong way because of the era that we're in, the friendly stuff, and so on and so forth, and the salary cap and all that. But if you really wanted to see LeBron James at his best, you need to put him on better teams with greater players. And that's it. The better those players are, the greater the team would be. So if he played with like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, if he would have played with greater players, he would have been even greater than this. And the weaker those players were, the weaker his legacy would have been ultimately. If you would have played with a bunch of dudes that had my level of basketball IQ and athleticism, he wouldn't have been able to get off the ground. He would have lost every year because he needed those guys to be talented, And that's why I always said he cost himself championships, because a lot of times he was trying to get guys on his team for reasons that didn't have nothing to do with their talent, basketball, and stuff like that, in my opinion. He wanted his homies paid. He wanted to make sure he had a certain environment around him, so certain people had to be there, etc. That brought his greatness down. It's why he has the record he has in the finals, in my humble opinion. Because the teams that were building against him were making sure they had the things that he needed. He needed to have a Golden State team around him. He needed to have a OKC Thunder team around him. He needed the type of team that the Boston Celtics had when he came into the league around him. You see what I'm saying? They built those teams to beat him. They built the teams that he would have been best to win with. Draymond Green. Yeah, that's LeBron. I honestly think that was LeBron's role, low key. Like when they were dreaming up what they were doing, Draymond's Bron. I don't know if that's how that really goes, but yeah, I think so. I really think so. When they were first putting together their offense, this, that, and the third, they were probably watching Bron. Like, okay, Dre's going to do what Bron does. Bron gets people this, they get this spot, this, that. Because Dre's were operating from the same spot Bron would, as his size is a power forward, just like Bron is. Got to consider the time they were in. Of course, they were watching Bron, seeing how he was operating and formulating their offense from that, I believe. Just my theory, but I think that's what it was. What would he be best at? Well, we need a shooter over there, and you shoot over there. Okay, draft Clay. We already got Steph in place. Okay. I really think they were putting that thing together with the intent of beating that man. I really believe that. And they were taking derivatives from the Suns and the Dallas Mavericks, the previous eras right before them. I think that's how Golden State got put together to stop the King. But anyway, I digress to say, I still think the same. I still think the King needs great players around him. I still think to this very day, the greater the team, the greater the players around him, the greater he'll be, and the greater the team. And I just feel like, as we go forward, we'll see what the Lakers can put together. Hopefully, we continue to add to this team, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, that's what I think of Bron, man. That's why I don't worry about him. I don't worry about him because as long as he has Anthony Davis next to him, and Anthony Davis is playing like crazy great, he's going to be very difficult to stop. Very difficult to stop, even by teams who are more talented. It's hard. Ask Steph Curry. He knows it's hard to do. So that's what I'm trying to express. I know who we have. I know who's on our side, and that's why I don't. Even though we don't have a championship team, I still think if somebody's coming against us, they're gonna have to overachieve to beat us, just because of that guy. Simply put. So that's what I think of the King, man. At any rate, what else, man? You guys follow me, I don't put no emphasis on one player or another, man. I think about the King as much as I probably think about Max Christie. It's just how this thing works for me. But nevertheless, we definitely respect what the King brings to the table. So, yeah, that's the thought, man. Thank you guys for rocking with BDF 44 as always. We can't wait for the regular season to start. Meaningless basketball can be fun, it's preseason basketball, but it doesn't fulfill the spirit like competitive basketball, and that's exactly what I'm hoping to see this upcoming season. I say hope because I know people are tanking, but I expect us to be competitive nevertheless. So that's what it is, man. Super excited. Congratulations to everybody who put the Laker team together. I don't think most people are going to congratulate us because they think we suck. I know better. Congratulations, Rob. Congratulations, Jeannie. This is a solid team. It's not wonderful. It's not amazing. It's not super, nothing like that. But what I see is what we need to compete. We have it. All we got to do is just make the trade. The 2 picks are included. We have to use that to get the rest of what we need, of course. So we're going to do that, man. We're going to do that. And when we do, then it'll just be about health, continuity, and people staying on the same page and not doing anything stupid, which is key. And I'm going to say this last thing and I'll sign out. I want to give big kudos to Darvin Ham. I feel like he's up against some adversity that no one's talking about. It's probably best they don't, but I'm going to bring it up anyway because I'm me. Everybody who represents the stuff he represents seems to be involved in some stupid scandal crap right now. Draymond Green punching people out from Saginaw. He's from Saginaw. Rookie coach last year, black rookie coach. Obviously, last year that was Ime Udoka, and now we see what Ime's doing. And I just feel like Darvin Ham is standing tall in the presence of all of that. You know what I mean? And I'm just very happy to see that he's not letting anything sway his focus. He's not going, be even moved by any of that. Because I see it. The devil's working hard, put it like that. I see it. But you know what I mean? I'm very encouraged by Darvin Ham's energy and his focus. And he deserved better from those 2. I'll say that right now. Ime Udoka and Draymond Green, I wish y'all would have thought a little bit more about y'all brother there. I wish y'all thought a little bit more about Darvin Ham. That y'all know what type of job he has right now, and y'all represent exactly what it is that he represents. He's doing it the right way. Y'all should have been piggybacking that and thinking about that when y'all walk. I really believe that. I know people ain't thinking about some random person, you know what I mean? But when you put on and you're making the type of money y'all make, and y'all in the position y'all make where people dream to get to where y'all get to, y'all should be thinking about other people when y'all walk in your regular day. Y'all should be thinking about who you represent when you lay your head down at night, because it's that serious of a situation. You got people dreaming and working hard to get to where you are. So you're a black man, you know what I mean? You have a job, pays millions of dollars, and people are watching you and you're displaying excellence. Don't throw it away, because there are other people who are in that position who are trying to get to where you're at, or who have gotten to where you are, and now people are going to be looking at them saying, when are you going to make the mistake those guys made? Because you're from where they're from and you're the type they are. And that's not fair. Ain't fair to Darvin Ham. And I'm glad he's not getting that energy from the Laker organization. And I'm very glad I'm the only person to bring it up. But I think Draymond and Ime Udoka need to have that brought to them. They need that. Somebody needs to bring that to them. That angle needs to be said to them. Y'all ain't did right by Darvin Ham, straight up. So that's what I gotta say, man. I'll leave it at that. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.